A new report shows that special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation has cost taxpayers more than $6.5 million in the first 5 months. So this report, Judge, comes as President Trump's son, Donald Jr., is preparing to testify today before the House Intelligence Committee behind closed doors later. The panel expected to grill Donald Jr.'s, for the president's eldest son, as well as a Russian-American who's a former business associate to President Trump. So here we have $7 million. Weeks and weeks of this, constant talk about the potential for collusion, zero evidence.
You know, about 20 years ago, there was a statute governing the appointment of an independent counsel, and the constitutionality of the statute was challenged and it was upheld. But in dissenting, Justice Scalia articulated great arguments against it, some philosophical. You know, the Constitution doesn't recognize this independent thing existing on its own. One very practical. Who controls the budget? And the answer is he controls his own budget and can spend whatever he wants. Judge Walsh investigating Iran-Contra, $45 million. Judge Ken Starr investigating Whitewater, $52 million. Bob Mueller investigating so-called Russian collusion, $7 million in 5 months. So we don't really know where this is going to go. Now, on Donald Jr., there are 3 entities investigating so-called Russian collusion: Bob Mueller, the House Intelligence Committee, the Senate Intelligence Committee. There are 2 sub-investigations: the House Judiciary Committee, the Senate Judiciary Committee. How many investigations do we need to talk about wasting money? On the other hand, the public has the right to know what the government is doing with our money. The interrogation of Donald Jr. should be in public so that we can all see it, not in private, so that Democrats can leak their version and Republicans can leak their version.
Meanwhile, we're still waiting to find out where's the investigation of the Hillary Clinton situation. Let's show the cover of the New York Post today, and that is Fix Be In, that is the FBI. This is the agent who was sending the negative tweets against Donald Trump, correct?
Text messages to his mistress.
Right.
It was anti-Trump.
So he was sending text messages to his mistress.
Right. Anti-Trump messages. But this was the lead investigator on the Mueller probe. And despite subpoenas originally from the Intelligence Committee that would expose the text, Mueller and the Justice Department kept the information from House investigators. There's stonewalling that's been going on.
Big time stonewalling.
This is not supposed to happen, particularly when the same party controls the executive branch and the legislative branch. They should work together. Last night, before I went to bed, I did see from one of our colleagues in D.C. an email saying that the text messages will be released, again in secret, not in public, to the House Intelligence Committee. It remains to be seen if they do.
It's not, wait. It's not just the fact that this investigator was working with Mueller. He also interviewed Cheryl Mills and Huma Abedin.
That's right.
And asked them about their knowledge of Hillary Clinton.
And they lied to him. They lied to him.
And they lied. We found out through other channels that they lied. He also wordsmithed Jim Comey's statement on Hillary Clinton, changing the language to extremely careless from grossly negligent. This man has had his hands and been involved with major investigations that resulted in, with Hillary Clinton, nothing.
Yeah,
okay,
that's right. And there's a story in Daily Caller today saying why was Michael Flynn in trouble for lying to the FBI and Cheryl Mills and Huma Abedin were not?
That is a very good question, but that is not a question to put to the FBI. All the FBI does is gather evidence, with the exception of the Hillary Clinton thing, where Jim Comey made the decision not to prosecute, a decision not his to make. The decision to prosecute General Flynn was made by the 13 lawyers that work for Bob Mueller after 5 FBI agents reviewed his interrogation of General Flynn. I'm not necessarily a fan of this gentleman.
Where's the interrogation of Cheryl Mills and Huma Abedin? Because they lied to him.
So those lies can still be prosecuted, just as Mrs. Clinton can still be prosecuted. I'm going to look in the camera and say what I've said 5 times before. Attorney General Sessions, would you please re-examine the evidence against these people and present it to a grand jury? Mr. President, would you pick up the phone and ask the Attorney General to do this? There is no reason that he should be bound by Jim Comey's ill-advised decision not to prosecute.
This is just wrapped in conflict. wrapped in conflict.
Now,
right, and
in terms of lying, in terms of lying,
there's been subpoenas out for information, and they stonewall. They are not giving the House Intelligence Subcommittees the information that they're asking for.
Well, the House Intelligence Committee is prepared to ask the House of Representatives to hold Rod Rosenstein, the person who really runs the Justice Department, and Chris Wray, the newly appointed head of the FBI, in contempt. This is almost inconceivable when they're in the same political party. But that's the level of frustration that Congress feels. You can see our frustration when all this is behind the scenes, and we have to analyze it on the basis of dribs and drabs and Republican leaks and Democratic leaks, rather than letting us see these things as they unfold.
Well, we just now know it's been confirmed that the FBI has been heavily politicized. They're political agents. They're bureaucrats. They're, I mean, they were supposed to be independent, and they haven't been. And you have the left consistently coming out saying, don't attack the FBI. They're independent. They do great work.
And
all
is
these other
Robert
things.
Mueller going to investigate his former colleagues in the FBI effectively?
I doubt it.
No.
Well,
I doubt it. But look, the crime is lying to the FBI. It's not lying to Mother Teresa. The FBI are cops. They wear suits. They're better educated. They speak better. But their job is to prosecute people. And they sometimes use tough techniques with which to do that.
You go to jail if you lie to the FBI, but they can lie to you.
Oh, ask Martha Stewart.